2, 3, it's that mad ass sucker free gorilla with the get back. Seems you forgot who you fucking with. Pistol grip pump in
What's up, everybody? Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. And be sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right down there. It's free, of course, so we can keep bringing you guys these interviews with some of our favorite iconic artists. Just share our material, like it, and of course, please subscribe so we can keep building these numbers and keep bringing you these interviews. Today, we have the honor and the privilege of being joined by somebody that I've known a long time and love his music. And he's got some new powerful music that's out right now. Harris, thank you for coming through, man.
Man, thank you for having me, Soren. How you doing, bro?
And, you know, on the one hand, things are great. It's kind of like Tale of Two Cities, you know?
Ain't that the truth?
You know, it's the best of times and the worst of times.
Gift that keeps on giving, 2020.
That is true. So you got the brand new album, Safe Space Invader, that's out right now. So
Right.
what made you've been putting out music here and there over the years, especially it's been a little more spaced out lately. So what made now time for you to return with Safe Space Invader?
Now is a perfect time to return, honestly. You know, we see everything that's going on in the world. Since since Trump's been in office, I haven't really made any music or even posted on social media or done anything other than business that doesn't have anything to do with music over the past few years. But things are getting progressively worse. There's definitely a lot to be talked about. There's definitely a lot of things that I don't see being talked about. And hip hop has always been, you know, my medium of choice to be able to get down and impact people and make them feel on a very gut level a point of view that oftentimes is missed in the media. So, you know, I'm back in the saddle.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the new project.
Thank you.
What does the title Safe Space Invader mean to you?
Safe space. So, you know that, I don't know if you know this or not, but that's actually something that conservatives say a lot. Because a lot of times people who are concerned with social justice issues and people who are concerned about freedom and justice and equality for all people are ridiculed by the right and called snowflakes and pussies and things of that nature. And this is a way for me to take that and claim it and basically say there's no bigger bitches in the world than conservatives who can overlook, who have the ability and the comfort zone to overlook a lot of the negativity that afflicts people of color and basically anybody that's not rich and white and a male, and say that they are down for the GOP and they are down for, not that I'm you know, beating my chest for the Democrats, but a lot of times you see these same people completely ridiculing those of us who care, when in reality they're the ones that got the thinnest skin. The Karen phenomenon, the people, you know, who refuse to wear masks, refuse to you know, basically care about other people, who reflexively view police and soldiers as heroes, who reflexively are opposed to anything that we support. You know, tribalism is a very big thing in America right now, much more so now that Trump is in office. And in 2020, I think the tribes have never been more pronounced, and the vitriol has never been more pronounced and more vicious. So, you know, this is a perfect way for me to basically say, you know what, fuck you. This is the page that we own. People who lean left and who care, who actually are compassionate about other people, are a lot of times maligned as being soft. And, you know, if you show your feelings and you're concerned about somebody else, a lot of times that's looked at as being less than a man and things of that nature in certain circles. And I reject that bullshit. You know, it's like there is a lane for those of us that care, that have something to say in the media, specifically in hip hop, in my instance, that a lot of times is completely overlooked, you know. So I started my label, I started Gorilla Funk, basically to be able to empower those voices. And I only really circle back around to hip hop when I feel like I got something to say. You know, I don't clout chase. I don't post regularly. Shit, I think I probably had a couple posts since my last record. I just don't give a fuck. You know, social media to me has always been kind of a what are you eating, what are you wearing, what's your cat doing type shit, you know. And this is the first time where I'm actually like actively engaging it. So, you know, it's a different landscape, but I've been here for years, man. So it's interesting.
Yeah. And the album, Space Invader, starts off with Bang Bang. And one of
Right.
the things that I really like about that song is in the 2-minute mark, how you're flowing like super fiercely. Because I think a lot of times with some of the more people that are more viewed as political rappers that we forget the art of it and the power
Right.
and the potency of it. So for you, on that track in particular, what made you go a little faster and flow with that type of breath control?
I have no idea. But basically, the approach that I take is to make the tracks first, and then to do a lot more music than I'm going to eventually end up needing, and then to whittle it down, right? And you know, and to have the proper pacing and the proper mood and the proper interaction between each track. So you know, you come out with something out the gate that hits hard. You follow it up with something else that hits hard. You slow it down a little taste, then you bring it back. It has to have an ebb and a flow, you know, to keep listeners' attention over the course of the entire project. And so I do the music first, and then you know, I have of course always a laundry list of topics that I want to discuss, and I incorporate those with whatever fits best and feels best. And you know, I want to come out with the Bang Bang is like a roving reporter, like on the scene from you know, protest eyes view, starting with the Oakland Police Department warning in the beginning, and it just sets the stage from there.
Yeah, and very powerfully, because it rolls right into why Reconcile.
Thank you.
With that one, I think it's you know, we see now with the Breonna Taylor ruling just coming down, and people are trying to turn protests into riots in the, you know, the way they're being portrayed and stuff. So for you, the why Reconcile, explain why that's an important title and an important concept.
That title sums it up. Why keep trying to fuck with we see? You know, it really it's been going on for years and years and years. But I think the first real bitch slap that this generation got was fucking with Obama, because we got Obama in office. Obama basically, he was somebody that was a blank slate that a lot of us projected on to what we wanted, right? So people were thinking Obama was going to come in and he was going to be Huey or something and shit, and obviously that wasn't the case. And a lot of people feel that he spent a large part of his presidency attempting to reach across the aisle and to be down with people that ain't fucking with us, right? And so it was a huge letdown for a lot of us that wanted to see more. And now, fast forward, you know, 4 years, you know, toward the end, it was pretty obvious. But fast forward 4 years into this fool's presidency, and you see all of the hatred and all this. It's not even a resurgence of racism; it is an increase in racism and hatred and intolerance and just across the board negativity, separation, and separation and discord. And I'm like, why am I even trying to fuck with that? Why would I even try to holler at somebody and make them see where I'm coming from, or try to make them sway what their beliefs are? People are deeply rooted, so much so in this country right now, so deeply rooted in their beliefs that they will cling to some shit that they know is obviously wrong just to not give the other side a win, right? And so when you're dealing with that kind of mentality, it makes no sense whatsoever to even try to fuck with them.
That is very true, sadly. also on the musical side on that one, you let the beat ride out and you had like the flute and the different chants and different stuff toward the end. So musically, since you're a producer, composer, arranger, what spoke to you to let that beat ride and explore that sonically that way?
I just want something different. Every project has to be different. I like beat changes. I like complete different. I like tonal changes. I like key changes and going in different directions with music. And it just made sense to me. I think the standard kind of intro, verse, hook, verse, hook, verse, hook, outro format, it's cool, but every record can't be that way. And it was just a way to, switch the game up.
Okay. And then with Press On, you talk about pressure is the only thing that people kind of respect or understand. Why do you think things are that way?
Make the rules. Shit, that is all that people understand. You got to apply pressure to make motherfuckers feel, and that's kind of what that is. Right. Especially in the case of police. I mean, we keep coming back to and that record toward the end gets to be about police brutality and what I believe is a justified response to violence. Violence is the only language that America continues to speak when dealing with us, and fuck it, man, let's speak in kind. The whole hands up, don't shoot shit is not working. The protests don't work. Self-defense works. And, the dancing naked and shit at a fucking protest, that shit don't work. A wall of moms don't work. None of that bullshit works, right? The only thing that works is self-defense. And, this country is one of the few countries where the population is petrified of the government. And that is something that is an anomaly in many other places. A lot of times government is scared of people. You got to do right by the people. And, people, a lot of folks who, may watch this may say that I'm reckless saying that, self-defense is common sense, but it is. When you got 30 people standing around watching somebody get choked to death, now at what point in time, and repeatedly though, because it's not the first time that shit has happened. You can look at Eric Garner, you can look at George Floyd. There's been instances where that has happened. At what point do we fight back?
Well, speaking to some of your classic material, Break the Grip of Shame had that on the single cover. The artwork was a kid in a chokehold.
Yeah. And how long ago was that?
89.
Shit, exactly. 89, bro. And we are in 2020. We're still talking about the same shit. Man, I would love to be able to just make some bullshit music, but I don't have that in me to be able to do something, carefree, because I got a conscience and I got shit I want to say.
So thinking back to Break the Grip of Shame, when you were writing that versus what you're writing now, like, have you artistically seen any benefits or any changes, or you think it's basically not much progression since 89?
Artistically, how so?
Well, I'm saying how you articulate the frustration of these realities that are going on.
I'm more adept at what I do. I mean, I think that we should, people who consider themselves artists should get progressively better with time. I think you should hone your craft over time. And if I'm sounding on a rudimentary level like I sounded when I first started, then I'm failing myself. In the very same way that if I look back over this, what has it been, 30 years or some shit, if I look at it over this 30-year history that I've had, and I have the same exact viewpoints, and I do this exact same shit, and I haven't grown at all, then I'm failing myself, and I'm doing myself a disservice, and I'm doing, people who pay attention to me a disservice. You got to grow and evolve and learn and adapt, and and musically, I've had hella different influences over the years, and shit, and thankfully now I can do everything that I need to do on my own. Gorilla Funk is set up as a standalone entity to allow me to be able to say what I got to say, and people that I signed to be able to say whatever we want to say unfiltered. I went through enough roadblocks and speed bumps over the years to know I don't want to fuck with anybody else. You know, I know Public Enemy just re-signed with Def Jam. Bless them. But my brothers, and I love them, but I don't want to be under anybody's control. I just don't. I want to own my masters. I want to own my publishing. I want to own everything that it is I create. I own my trademarks. I beat hella people back and shit over miscellaneous trademarks over the years and shit. Whoever infringed on my shit. And, you know, that's why I work hard to be able to create a lane where we don't have to worry about being censored.
Right. Yeah. Well, you also, one of the great songs on Safe Space Invaders is Nobody Move, and you have a video out for that one that's animated.
Yeah. Right. And I got to give a shout out to my man Unjust, who is a beast with the animation, you know, and he is pretty much on deck to crank them out from now on, you know, and you know, I am looking forward to what the future holds with him, because especially as it pertains to like the George Clinton shit that I got coming out, that's going to be, you know, Cerno's The Star Child and the whole thing all over again. I mean, I'm at the stage in the game and at this point in my career where I really just make cathartic shit for myself. You know, it's really, if it's some shit that I could slap every day that I love, that I know in my heart is hella good, then I hope people come along for the ride. But my days of like trying to make music to appease other people, that shit is over. Not really, it is.
Yeah. Well, with the video too, you pay homage to the Emory Douglas.
Yes.
Part of that artwork. So
right.
what made that something that you wanted to showcase and spotlight with the Nobody Move video?
I mean, the parallels between the 60s and 2020 are pretty strong. You know, social upheaval and unrest and shit not being cool, and inequality, and, you know, an authoritarian regime that wants to basically control everything and suppress dissent and suppress different lanes of basically repress all walks of life that benefit people that aren't like them. And so, yeah, I feel like it's necessary to show those parallels and, you know, and to pay homage to those who came before us.
Yeah. And
I mean, my career has been hugely impacted and influenced by the Black Panther Party, and you know, they taught me the notion of spectacle, right, and the notion of something being larger than life to appeal to people. Stylistic, you know, their stylistic approach is something that drew a lot of people in initially. So, you know, having a particular look to the brand and having a particular look to, you know, the label and all of the releases and things that come out, all of its associated merchandise, that matters.
Yeah, because I remember back to 1989 with Break the Grip of Shame, seeing the logo for the first time with the Black Panther as part of the Paris aesthetic was,
right.
You know, it was very compelling and, you know, definitely gets your attention. There's no confusion.
Right, exactly. That's it.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Your MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.